All right, we're going to continue looking at characteristics. This video is going to focus on average rate of change, AROC, which in linear is considered slope. And so you've talked about slope before, you've seen slope before, but I want you to know that average rate of change is another way of seeing slope. This is a formula that will be given to you. Average rate of change, which is what we're doing right now, is the change in the y value divided by the change in the x value for two distinct points on the graph. So different from slope is it has two distinct points on the graph, but you can see it's the same thing. The change in the y value divided by the change in the x value. It is there for you, so if you forget it, please reference it. So it's just very important to know that y is on the top and x is on the bottom, and it begins with 2. So we're going to go into our calculator. We're first going to type in exactly what we need for our formula. Now to do this, it says type divide first. Very important that you type divide first. If you don't type divide first and you do parentheses minus parentheses divided by, you see what it does? It only divides the second parentheses. So you have to type divide first and then do parentheses minus parentheses. As you can see, everything is now on the top and now everything is on the bottom. So that looks exactly the same as that. So please, first things first, when you're doing yours, please make sure it looks like this. Go ahead and type that in because, of course, I'm going to do a question. You're going to do a question. So here's our formula for easy reference. It says label x1, x2 given in the question. So we're going to come here. There's only 2 questions on AROC. So as I do this question, go ahead, hit and pause. You're going to do this question. All right. So it says, after doing that, label x1, x2 given in the question. Be mindful that you see this is a closed bracket. So this does not signify x and y a coordinate. This is closed bracket. This signifies an interval. So there's x1 and x2. So in the question, you will always be given x1 and x2. And it's saying go ahead and label it. So this is x1 and this is x2. It's just very important that you label what's what so that you know where to put it. Okay, so I've done that. What's next? Find y1, y2. Well, how do I do that? Start on the given x value and go straight up and down to get to the graph. Then straight left and right to get to the y-axis, which will be a corresponding value. Okay, so I have to start on my, which one am I looking at? Quadratic. So you're not looking at quadratic, you're looking at linear. So I'm looking at quadratic, and it says, so I'm going to start with x1, -1. So my quadratic parent, it says x1 is -1, so right here, and then it says go straight up and down. So if I go down, I'm never going to hit the graph, so I'm going to come right here. So -1 goes with 1. All right, so I'm going to come right here and write that down. So my y1 is 1, comma, what is my y2? So I'm going to go to -3 and repeat the process. So -3, so -1, -2, -3. And because I don't see where this is exactly, I'm going to type in my quadratic function into my calculator so I can see it. So this is x squared, and I want to go in where I see -3. So I'm going to zoom in, and a faster way of doing this actually is I want it to draw a line going up and down. I could say x equals -3. Wherever they intersect is what I'm looking for, so it's really 9. Or if that confused you, please don't worry about it. You're just going to zoom into the graph until you see -3. So that's -2. There's -3. And I'm just going to go straight up until I get to the graph itself. And I can see that -3 is +9. So this is +9. So I'm going to come back to my notes and write that down. All right, so this is going to be +9. So I now have my x and my y values, which means I'm ready to put things in the formula. So here's my formula. Remember, my second one goes first and then my first one. Y on the top, x on the bottom. Y on the top, x on the bottom. Oh, great. I have it right here. Y on the top. So my second y value is 9. That goes on the top. So that's 9. 9 goes with what number? So I don't have to even look. -3. So this is -3. Okay. And then my first y value goes on the top right here. So my first y value is 1, and 1 goes with what x value? -1. Please make sure that you're typing exactly what it is. So if it's negative, you're typing it inside the parentheses, and it's going to tell you exactly what it is. So my average rate of change, and we're just going to make sure that you also copy it here because I obviously don't see your calculator when you bring me the notes. So make sure you transfer your numbers over. So this is -4. The average rate of change for this interval is -4. And then it does have one more note, and I'm going to talk about this just in case yours has this. If the answer is a decimal, press the fraction bar to make a fraction. So I'm going to first make my answer a decimal real quick. Let's say it's 0.333. All right, so it says press this to make a fraction, but you remember in a previous video, if it looks off, what you're going to do is keep going until it runs out. All right, so it's run out, and then keep going until it comes back, and that's the answer. So if you get one that looks really funky, keep going with the repeating decimal, and it's going to come back, and that's going to be the right answer. All right, so please go ahead and find the average rate of change for this linear parent function. Let's practice.